Hi.
So guys, we want to talk to you today about prostate cancer and prostate cancer awareness. And I know that don't check out yet. Okay. You may be a female and you're thinking, how does this affect me? You may be somebody that's not even in a relationship with a man and you're thinking, how does this affect me? If you know any male in your life that matters to you, or you ever encounter any male in your life that matters to you, please stay.
Yes.
Please stay. Please listen to what we have to say today and share it to anybody and everybody that you know.
You may save somebody's life today, right?
Yep. Hey.
Hey.
Guess what?
Hey.
I got up and got myself ready this morning, and I came upstairs. I told him he needed to get ready. That's a whole different story. Have a kiss. Good morning. It'll be evening when you see this, but...
Yeah, let's back up. I was already ready. I've been ready for several hours before she got up. Now we can start.
I didn't fall asleep until like 2 in the morning. Busy mind. Well, let's talk today about this week. We had a visit to one of the doctors. What was that?
Mine or yours?
Oh, shoot. I forgot. I've had a bunch of doctor's visits. But let's talk about yours. Let's talk about that awareness.
So, I'm a prostate cancer survivor. Survivor. And what we like to talk about is the recommendations, I guess, for insurance about getting tested.
Yeah.
So,
how old were you when you were diagnosed?
50.
How did you get diagnosed?
Through blood test. Is that what you mean? PSA.
It's a blood test for PSA.
When you go for your annual physical, if you're a male, and I don't, here's the thing. The recommendations for most insurances right now are 55 years old and get tested every other year.
Yeah.
So no.
So, and he was diagnosed, his test results showed it when he was 50. In all honesty, the reason that you had the test at 50, his employer had an incentive, and I'm sure a lot of your employers do as well, where if you make certain strides towards your health or do a certain physical once a year, there's usually some sort of incentive for the employee. And we were very fortunate that at that time, that was included as part of that physical. But if he had waited until 55, it would have probably... See, the thing that people don't realize is prostate cancer is a lot more prevalent than you realize. And it spreads to your lymph nodes and your bones. And it makes for a very miserable life and a very miserable end of life.
If you can catch it while it's still in the prostate and hasn't spread, so that's where I was lucky, by early detection. So they found it when I was 50. Barely minute. The doctor says just about undetectable. As far as the blood tests come back numbers out of range, high. So they did a biopsy. And out of 12 samples, I believe there was 3 that had a minute sign, which is possible that could be in anybody, okay? So what he said was, let's wait a year. Let's check it again. So a year later, we did another biopsy, and it had really progressed. Mm-hmm. So that's when I went in, and I had there's several options for, you know, when they have it, you can do radiation. They got some seed things, or you can have the prostate removed. Me personally, it's your choice.
Well, we were lucky that the urologist that he was referred to, unfortunate for him, but fortunate for us, had actually been through this personally. Yeah. And he's actually wrote books about it. And one thing that a lot of people don't realize is Ben Stiller, the actor, he was diagnosed with it in his 40s.
Yes. I
want to say maybe 43. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But he was in his 40s. And the thing about it is this particular doctor, I think because he had been through it personally, he wanted to do his due diligence in not forcing his views or his thoughts on us. And he made sure that he referred us to oncology and surgeons and everybody outside of his office to get all of the opinions and make the decision ourselves. For us, the decision was...
My personal decision, our decision, I wanted it removed. I didn't want the thoughts of, okay, radiation kills it, but prostate's still there. They might be 1 or 2 cells or whatever, cancer cells that didn't get. Same way with the seeds. If they take that prostate out and say that we got it all out, I feel a whole lot better. And so that's the road I went. Tough recovery. It's tough, but
I think one of the things that a lot of people don't realize, because a lot of people say the seeds, and if you are someone you love is going through this, I always put in the description of the video, I always put our social links, which includes ways to get in touch with us. He is quite fine with speaking with anybody that may be going through this and maybe going through those challenges. But the thing about it is a lot of there's side effects to everything, even having it removed. Yeah. And a lot, the seeds and removal had almost identical repercussions from having it removed. I asked you yesterday or the day before, whenever we went to the doctor, which, by the way, his blood test, he has them done every 3 to 6 months. And you had surgery in 2016 for removal. And they do the PSA test to see if there's any detection. And that would mean that, we missed something that's somewhere in your body. His is undetectable still. We did have one scare. It turned out that it was quite possibly a lab error because every test has been undetectable since then, thank God. But I asked him yesterday, did you know what did you know about the prostate before?
Nothing.
Before this? Because as a female, I didn't know jack about it.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a test for it, like in your annual physical. What I'm getting at is I don't care. To me, if you're in your mid-30s, because they're finding it that young now, you go for your annual physical, you'll have to request it, because most insurances are not going to require it till you're 55. And if it goes any length of time, then I mean it's not #1 killer of men cancer wise. Okay,
it is, and it's even higher in men of color.
Yes,
and I don't know why, but it is. And so even if you have to pay for this blood test, I promise you, it's not going to break you.
So
it may be $100, a little more, but I have requested blood tests from my doctor before, and she said, I don't know if the insurance is going to pay for that. Okay, then they'll bill me. What we're saying is request the test, and if you have to pay for it, pay for it.
It's worth it.
Because it saved his life.
So I had a buddy that works with me that was probably, I think he was like 6 or 7 years older than me. We found out at the same time, okay, his was done in his bones. So he lived a miserable,
painful
last couple of years of his life. Guys, when you go for that annual physical, ask them to do the PSA test. It's in the blood work, but if they don't ask for it, they're not going to check it. And stay on top of it. It's not, here's what my urologist is pushing for. Everybody on here, how many days a week if you're watching TV do you see something about breast cancer awareness?
Right.
So this is the equivalent in men.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't see that. So his push right now is trying to get the same awareness. And we'll probably here at some point are going to have a little...
They're probably going to do a video together.
Invite him, my urologist, because he was wanting to talk about this and get the awareness, get it going. We want to make a difference.
We've been very fortunate because he actually had 2 urologists. He had the one that diagnosed him. And then in the same practice at the time, there was another doctor, Dr. Brent Sharpe. If you're in the Georgia area, he's with Georgia Urology. You're not going to meet a more passionate person with regard to men's health. He is very well known for a robotic surgery to remove the prostate and for other men's health related urology things. And so he is very passionate about it. He is very passionate about getting awareness out. And in all honesty, this is an area in the United States specifically that women are more fortunate than men in this particular case. Think about it. We start testing for cervical cancer as soon as you're sexually active. And, this being a huge killer for men, there needs to be more awareness. You may not be a man watching this. You may not even be in a relationship with a man watching this. But you have some man in your life that matters to you. So it's good for everyone to know. I want to ask you for a second, and I know this may be a little bit of a vulnerable conversation. We'll be careful how we go about this. The only thing that I knew about prostate is that it relates to sexual function for a man. So I didn't know anything else. And a lot of women don't even know that. You knew that before getting tested, right?
Not really. Not to that extent. Yeah. I mean, they do the exam and stuff like that, but...
Was it more of an inconvenience than a this may save my life thing?
Yeah.
So here's what I want to say. Because it relates to sexual function, and we'll if you guys are interested, we can do more videos to explain more how that is. But because it relates to sexual function, a lot of men may not want to find out. They may feel like because there is a possibility with treatments of prostate cancer of losing your sexual function.
But there's a lot
But I'm going to tell you that if you find out early enough, the greater your chances that it doesn't affect you that way.
And then there's medical advances out there to help you get it back too, right?
Right. And so don't let the fear of feeling less of a man take your life away. Because you've said it how many times, having prostate cancer takes what? Your
manhood. If you hear that, manhood, it's tough on you. It makes you, it's, I went for counseling, right?
Yeah.
So then where this ties into our relationship part of this video is I learn to appreciate each day more, right?
We learned to appreciate each day more.
I did anyway, but this was like,
Well, and we found out you were going to, let's see, we got married in September of 2016. You had your prostate removed in December.
So in October, I found out that
we got to do something.
We got to do something. So that was 1 month into our new marriage. And then 4 months in, I have it removed.
I'll say this to scare anybody because I just told you. I want you to don't be so scared of that losing any sexual function that you don't address it, because that's your chance to preserve as much of that as possible. But I also feel like we're different because we have a very close and very open relationship. And I don't know, maybe it was different for us because our marriage was so new. I mean, I would think a lot of people would probably think, oh, okay, that's detrimental. But we were still, and still are, like, honeymooning. Yeah. And you learn real quick, but I really feel like there should be some sort of therapy for this, and I'm sure maybe there is. Sex isn't always sex. Intimacy isn't always intercourse. There's lots of ways when going through those processes that you learn to share intimacy in sexual ways that's not actually intercourse.
Right.
And I feel like there should be some sort of therapy for couples that are going through it, that maybe, so we've been a part of several support groups, and I've seen like a lot of couples that have been around for a long time. So, or that have been together for a long time. And some of you see a whole different spectrum. You see men that are more adamant and want to go for it more, and that are wanting to find other ways to fulfill those needs while they're healing through each other. And then you see some men that are so frustrated with it that they're no longer touching their wives.
Yeah, so, and going back on the support stuff, if you're a prostate cancer survivor or know somebody that is, and you have Facebook, there's a bunch of support groups.
Yes.
On Facebook, and it's worth going on there, and you'll see just what she's talked.
There's support groups for the wives,
and it's easy to drift off to kind of isolate yourself.
It really is, but we learned, honestly, the support groups were both great and awful. Because we've seen a lot of people, younger men, especially in other countries, not getting the treatment. That feels good. You can keep rubbing. That not getting the treatments they need in time, and it ending their lives. We've seen people have great success in feeling miserable about that sexual function and then regaining that and having that joy. We've seen couples being able to support each other through it, and we've seen couples that it has torn apart.
You won't see us push any political agenda at all.
Ever.
But I will make one comment. If we lived in one of these few countries that was government-funded healthcare,
he probably
I wouldn't be
here.
sitting here right now. I promise.
And that's something
based
to
on
think
the
about.
norm that with all the groups that we've been in and what we've seen. It's
every one of the younger males that we have seen, that it has progressed, it has grown, and they have not made it, have been, well, a large percentage of those have been in countries that have government health care.
Yeah, so that's
and
all
that,
about,
honestly, we didn't know anything about that until we became a part of these communities. So we're only talking, we don't know, we haven't lived that, fortunately. But we have had to fight the insurance companies for treatments and different things that he's needed. And it has been things that have about mentally broke him down. And get the support. Don't be afraid to talk about it. Don't be afraid to share your story. Don't be afraid to find like people. Because there are times when you're going to need support from people who understand exactly what you are going through. And I'm going to say this, guys, you can have prostate cancer. You can have it removed. You can have the treatments, and you can still regain your sexual function. Don't let that stop you from finding out and getting on top of it, because it's really important. So this is a different a lot of times we talk about like relationship advice and stuff like that. And I really hope that this does relate to our relationship. It really does. It's been a huge part of our relationship.
It brought us, if possible, closer.
Yeah, right? I think so.
Oh, still enjoy, even though I seen the side where I could have drifted the other way and pushed myself apart, because sometimes dealing with an insurance company is frustrating, but
it feels helpless sometimes.
That's where in the relationship status, I was raised, and a lot of people my age as men, you were taught that you can handle anything on your own, right? Wrong. You can, but don't push the ones away that love you and care about you, because they love you and care about you. They're going to help you through it, and that's how I got through it. You know, you got the man upstairs that's always got looking over us and taking care of us, but your loved ones right here to support you.
They are, and I don't want to. Listen, guys. If you are that support person for somebody going through this, you don't have to be okay 100% of the time. There have been, most of the time, I held it together in front of you. Yeah. There have been times I've broken down and lost it behind the scenes. And there have been moments where we have together. Yeah. But you build each other up. And you keep each other hopeful. And that is how you get each other through the tough times, whether it's this or something else. Because honestly, and we won't go into the whole story, but
exactly a year later, I'd have another.
He had melanoma cancer removed from his leg. Y'all, I was big scared behind the scenes.
So they got this big long scar. They went in and took
hugely scared
lymph nodes and everything out, and they survived another one. But you know, I don't want to go for a third time, right?
No, no. And when you hear that big C, it changes so many things in your life. It changes the way that your mind works. You've been clear for almost 7 years. And every time he goes and gets a PSA test, we're on the edge of our seats. It changes you forever. It does. But it doesn't mean that you can't support each other and be there to get through it. Don't push that person away.
Let them help you. Let them be the support.
Because in our support groups, we've seen so many couples that have fallen apart from that. And it's not to say that it's not a weight to support each other through those things. But if you're pushing each other away, you're doing it alone.
Don't do it alone.
So, guys, if you're a guy or you know a guy that you care about,
ask for that test.
Ask for the test.
Blood test.
I would start asking for it in your mid-30s.
I would, yes.
Honestly.
I tell all my buddies every time they say something about time for my yearly physical, I said, ask
for the test. Ask for the test. It's called a PSA test.
And if they don't do it, it's not because I'm not pushing them to do it, right?
Right. And so even if you have to pay for it, guys, get it. We love you guys. We hope that we are bringing valuable information to you. If you have found this helpful, please tag somebody else in the comments, share it out, subscribe, hit that bell, help us grow. Yeah. We enjoy spending some time with you each week. So you guys have a great weekend, and we will see you next time.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.